Hello, welcome back to Baking with Jen. I'm Jen, and I am your local baker. So, on our show, we just try baking different random things. And today, I'm going to try my hand at making just basic soft pretzels. We'll see how that goes. I've recently decided to kind of watch what I eat, and I'm trying not to eat so much bread. So I'm also going to try a keto version of pretzels. From what I see, they look like pretty good, but I figure we can try them out, and if it's a fail, then it's a fail. And what's the worst that happens? If you notice, I have my Eclipse t-shirt. This is from 2017 Eclipse, not from yesterday, but I kind of wore this because of the eclipse yesterday. So let's see what we got and get started today. I'm trying to find the recipe that I was planning. I can't remember if I put it in the description or not. So I'm just looking at the recipe real quick to see what's going on with that. Nope. So we're just going to look up a quick soft pretzel recipe. I was looking at one before, but I'm probably doing it on my phone. And so that means I don't quite have the recipe in front of me. I'm going to take a minute and look for it on my phone as well. But if I'm not mistaken, the recipe I was looking at is just like the all recipes recipe for it. But the number one recipe they have is with Sally's Baking Addiction, which that's a really good place. I get a lot of the recipes there as well. So let's pull this up on the screen and see what it says. Share screen. There we go. Alright, let's. Nope. I'll just do it this way. There we go. So, with this, I know we can't really see my face. Move my head off there. That's a little bit better anyway. One of the things I was looking for is most yeast bread recipes need time to rise, and we don't necessarily have. We have the time to let it sit and rise, but it gets kind of boring just letting dough rise. So, one of the things I like about the soft pretzels is that they don't need time to rise. We're probably going to give them a little just because, but overall, they don't need time to rise. So, let's look at this recipe. Let's scroll down from all of the phone stuff. So, yeast, it's like butter, salt maybe. Let's go down here to the actual recipe. Now it does say like, yeah, so, no, I just want to get rid of it. Go away. Thank you. Alright. In general, okay. Come down here. Whisk yeast in the warm water, let it sit for 1 minute, whisk in salt, brown sugar, melted butter. I'm not going to put brown sugar in this. Don't think that's necessary. Mix with a wooden spoon, dough with attached, dough's thick, no longer sticky, add some flour, knead the dough. Shape into a dough ball. Put in the towel, all the rest. Baking soda and water. Preheat to 400. Yeah, looks like this is pretty good. How many is this supposed to make? Let's check on that real quick. Alright. Yields 12 pretzels. So this should make 12 pretzels. That's pretty awesome. So let's get started. Oh, 1 tablespoon of brown sugar? Okay, I thought it was like a quarter cup of brown sugar. I thought we were trying to make some pretzels. Nope, that's okay. We can use that back. 1 tablespoon of brown sugar or granulated sugar. Alright. And I did buy some new yeast, so we have that part. Awesome. Like I said, I do want to try out a keto recipe for pretzels, but we'll see how that comes about. See if it actually comes out. Alright. Flour. Alright, so let's get started with this. We're going to remove the recipe. Let's just get started. So, we're going to transition. Alright. Robobots assemble. I don't think there's any Robobots, but oh well. Here we go. So, first step, we're going to mix my favorite mixing bowl. And I'm actually gonna get so we got our little bowl. This says warm water. This isn't exactly warm, but that's okay. So we're just going to look at the recipe again real quick. As this says 1.5 water. Step 1 is alright, maybe we don't need the little bowl. Maybe I'm just being paranoid. Okay, but I will bring this way so that we can do this together. I don't know if you guys can see the weight here, but we need 360 milliliters of water. I don't think y'all can see that, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's not leaning against anything. So up to 360. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 60, 360, right on the nose. That's awesome. I have 360 milliliters of water. Let's go ahead and tear out the scale. Here, there we go. And then for our yeast, it says 2.25 teaspoons, 7 grams. or 1 packet. So we just need 7 grams, 3, 5, 6, 7. A little extra just in case. So 8 grams right there. And so this just says to let it bloom and rest for a few minutes. So I think while this is doing this, what we'll go ahead and do is we'll weigh out 1 cup of flour. So that way it's already ready. Because overall we're going to need 3 3/4 cups, so about up to 500 grams. So first one, we're looking for 120 grams. Oh, 140. 125. Okay, we're gonna call that good. All right, so we have our first flour. We have our yeast. Look. I just set this aside for a minute, but you can already see how it's like foaming up around the edges. That lets you know that it's working right. Last time I tried to do this with yeast, it just kind of dissolved and then sat there. And then 30 minutes later, it had a few little bubbles. So that's how I knew that my last yeast was bad. Not necessarily bad, it's just not thriving like it should be. But this little foamy stuff around the edge, that lets us know that we're doing pretty okay here. So, it says teaspoon salt, tablespoon brown sugar, ground sugar, 1 tablespoon unsalted butter, melted and slightly cooled. So, we are going to go ahead. Oh, that's a negative. We're going to go ahead and weigh out a tablespoon of brown sugar in here. Oh, that's too off-centered. There we go. Let's see, and on the package, this says 2 teaspoons is 8 grams. So we need about 16 grams of brown sugar. I'm just kind of crumpling this up as I do it. 15, just like a little bit more of a pinch. Okay, it's not going up, so you know what? 16, there we go. So, at this point, while we're still brewing the yeast, it's okay to add the sugar because the sugar will help feed the yeast at this point. I definitely wait until it's more adding in salt because salt will kill yeast. And so I'm just stirring in the brown sugar a little bit. So right now we have yeast, water, and brown sugar on our way to making homemade soft pretzels. So the next step, is this going to add the butter too? This is to whisk it. Let's yeast and warm water, let it sit 1 minute, salt, whisk in salt, brown sugar, and melted butter. Not melting, I'm not going to melt the butter. I don't feel like dealing with that. I do have softened butter, so we will definitely use that, but I think I want to use that when there's some flour mixed in, so that it's not as difficult to use with. So we'll put in the salt and the butter here in just a minute. So right now this is just the yeast, brown sugar, and water. So we did measure out 1 cup of flour. So we're going to go ahead and pour this one in here and kind of mix it in a little. So I'm going to try to do two things at once. And while I'm kind of stirring this in, I'm going to measure out our second cup of flour. Now, this is really lumpy, and as we go through and stir this up and add more stuff, it will form more of a dough. It's just right now there's more water than necessary. So this is 121 grams. It's close enough. So right now we have about 6 grams extra flour. So pop flour to number 2. Go ahead and put that in there and stir in cup of flour number 2. And while I'm stirring this in, I'm going to go ahead and weigh out cup of flour number 3, because remember this is 3 to 3 3 cups of flour. There we go. So actually that's 120 on the nose. That's awesome. So see, we got nice and good yeast bubbles. This is starting to come together a lot nicer. Okay, so at this point, since it's now more of a batter than water, I'll go ahead and add in the salt because we're seeing some good yeast bubbles. It does ask for a teaspoon of salt, which there's about a teaspoon, so there we go. Now that we have the flour and everything in here, it helps stabilize the yeast a little bit. So by putting in the salt now, it's not going to kill all of the yeast, so it'll still work the way we need it to. All right, so this is awesome. I was actually just thinking about the fact, that here in a little bit we're going to need to boil these in some baking soda water. And so I'm going to pre-boil my water in my electric kettle so that way it can work on that. And then when we're ready to put it in the pot, it'll be a lot easier. All right, so I'm going to just put in probably about half of this because I don't want this to get too stiff just yet. Like I said, we still need to add the butter, and I don't want to add the butter and do like a final product. I want to be able to mix it in a little bit still. So I want something a little closer to a dough than just a batter. Okay, so let's add a little bit more flour. So it's about a third. The first time, a third. The second time, I got about a third still left in there. All right. So it's coming together really, really nicely. This is starting to form, like it's really starting to look like a dough, which makes me happy. Okay, so this is starting to look a little bit chunky and all that kind of fun stuff. So this is the point where I'm going to add the tablespoon of butter because I think at this point there's enough in here to kind of rough it up and get it integrated. I think back before in the liquid stage, it was just too liquid and it would have just been sitting there. I'm not really mixing in. Now we have this little bit of butter, and I'm going to go ahead and add this last like third cup of flour. So probably even like a quarter cup of flour, but and I know that the butter's probably not going to mix in quite right just yet, but I have a feeling it has a better shot of mixing in now than it did. Okay, so that was 3 cups of flour. So it was 125, 121, and 120, which 3, 2, 4, 6. That's 366. 366. So in order to get up to 400, that needs 35, and so we need about 135 grams to, because it goes up to 100, it says up to 500. So go ahead and measure out the 135 grams of flour so that we just have all of that available. I am so excited because I was able to do it with the flour we had in the house. I do have an extra flour out in the in our garage pantry, but it's not. Mix this. We are going to need this. Holy cow. Need. All right. So, still a battery. We have this much flour. I'm just going to pour some of it in and see if it starts coming together into a dough a little bit better. Because we do want this kneadable. We need to knead this for like 5 minutes. But we need it to not be so liquidy, which it's coming together and it's pulling away from the edges of the bowl where the flour is getting to it. So that's a good sign anyway. But at this point, I'm still stirring with the spoon. I don't want to stick my hands in here yet. Like, that looks very, very wet. And I'm not ready for that in my life right at the moment. Okay, but yeah, this is still looking very, very wet. So, a little bit more flour. See, we still have some left. So, like, it does say to mix it in a little bit at a time. Now it says to, like, use a mixer with a dough hook, which we could do that eventually, just not today. We're just going through and adding things in as we can. And it seems to be coming together okay. Like I said, it still looks fairly moist. This is looking a lot drier, which is giving me hope. Giving me hope that it's actually gonna come together and not be a sticky mess. But with the amount of flour I'm using, I'm not sure. So I'm gonna see about getting my hands in here now. So one of the things you want to do if you're gonna need something sticky is start off with your hands floured. It helps keep it from sticking to your hands. Now it doesn't keep it from sticking to your hands, but it helps. It helps. Every little bit helps, huh? So just getting all this stuff off of the spoon. And we have the dough here. I said, it still looks really sticky to me. We might actually need even a little bit more. But, like I said, I haven't made these before. I've tried making soft pretzels before, but if I remember correctly, they didn't turn out quite the way I would like a soft pretzel to turn out. And it's been a long time. So, it hasn't been in the last 3 months anyway. 4 months? I don't know. We're in April now. So, we're working on our 4-month mark. Alright. So, this is actually kind of kneading okay. It's still like fairly sticky if you see that. So I'm gonna just take a smidge flour at the top. And so we're just gonna keep kneading it in the bowl for the moment. I'm trying to get it to, one, get all of this stuff out of the bowl, and two, to not be sticky so that I can knead it on the counter a little bit more confidently. Because with the way that this is right now, it's sticky enough that I think that it would probably stick to the counter and everything, and I don't really want to deal with that right now. But all right, well, that's together fairly nicely, so let's, like, I don't want it to stick to the counter, and it might not, but let's see how this goes. Put that on there. So we got the bowl mostly cleared out, so that is one of the important things. Sounds like the water just finished boiling. Not that we need it right now, but now it's pretty hot, preheated water, which makes it a lot easier to try to do stuff with. Like we need to boil water later. A big pot of water will take a long time to boil, and I'd probably need to put that on like now. But since we have the kettle boiled water, it will make it a lot faster and easier once that part rolls around. Okay, now this is like picking up all the flour off of the, so we're just going to sprinkle a little bit more, and try to get stuff off of my hands. Get off of my hands. Okay, I really want the stuff off my fingers. This right here is why I don't like sticking my hands in gooey stuff, is because it sticks to your hand like this. And it's just really difficult to try to get off. Unless you go and wash it, and then you're wasting product, and I hate wasting product. So just rub your hands down and it should fall up and come off. Now, sometimes you don't want to do this because these kind of turn into little like hard rocks that just kind of ruin whatever you're trying to make. But I'm hoping that everything is soft enough that it won't do that. Wishes and fishes. Wishes and fishes. Okay. Now, I just have a little, I don't know if you guys can see that, and it's just a little bit more flour in here. So, we're just kneading this together. Yeah, I think we're gonna need, well, see, here's the thing as well. The more gluten that the final thing has, the less sticky it is. So when you're kneading dough or bread, this is pretzels, so it's not exactly bread, but close enough. But when you're kneading dough, the more like gluten it has and the more developed it is, then the less sticky it actually gets. So let's see if we can knead this into not being sticky. I don't know if we can do that or not, but we're gonna see. And if we need some more flour, I have that little bit left, so we have some on standby. But this is definitely sticking to my hand. Oh man, it's not sticking to the counter, which that's a good sign. But it's definitely sticking to my hand. So let's see if we can just, I'm just pressing it basically, not even folding it. It's kind of just pressing into itself and just keep moving forward until it kind of rolls off the back of my hand because it's just so sticky. At least to me, it's like my hand sticking to my hand. Whew. Kneading is always a workout, especially if you're trying to hit your camera stands. I really need to figure out a setup with like overhead cameras, so I don't have like tripods sitting on the counter while I'm doing this. just because like I just accidentally punched the tripod while I'm doing this, and I'm not like, we don't want that in our life. We don't need tripod punches. You see, now it's sticking to the counter because there's no more flour. I'm just trying to knead as fast as we can. Feel like was it Flashdance? Or I think the description is like a young lady tries to dance as fast as she can to get a spot in like a Broadway musical or something. I don't know. I haven't read it in a little bit, but I know it says something about like dancing as hard and fast as she can to overcome adversity, which is technically what we're doing. It's just with bread dough. I don't think bread dough involves a lot of adversity though, unless you consider getting sticky with dough and kneading and having it stick to a bunch of places. Like, if you consider all of that adversity, then sure, kneading bread dough has plenty of adversity. But yeah, ooh-wee. Like, it's sticky. I'm hoping to get it to stop being sticky. Now, sometimes you have something like a brioche dough, and that's going to be sticky, like, no matter what you do. Like, you can have full gluten in there, and it's going to be a sticky dough, because it's just, by nature, a sticky dough. Which, this is kind of supposed to be a sticky dough as well. Oh, if we get to making the other pretzels I want to make, that's going to be a sticky dough, because it's basically a melted cheese dough. But we'll see if we get that far today. I get through kneading this, and I'm like, I'm too tired to make another pretzel dough. Then we won't make it, but we'll see how this goes. So far, it's sticking to me amazingly. It's doing a really good job of sticking to me. Right? And it's sticking to the counter, and we're just getting sticky with dough. Alright. My hands are feeling sticky and crusty. And that's another thing, is that whenever you knead dough a lot, the salt and flour and everything actually pulls a lot of moisture out of your hands. So I am really bad about drinking water, and I get dehydrated pretty easily. So my hands are usually fairly dry anyway. And then doing stuff like this just kind of dries them out a little bit more. So make sure, if you're going to be kneading a bunch of dough, that you drink enough water and use lots of lotion. Keep your skin hydrated however you can. Come on. I'm trying to pick up some of the sticky stuff, and it just makes it end up like spreading it out more. Oh man. Okay, that's okay though. I have a feeling it'll pick it up eventually. Let's see, it's balling up and coming together, so that's good signs, I think. But it's also sticking to the counter like crazy. It's okay. What a dough wants, what a dough needs, is to be needed always. But got a nice little dough ball going here. It's looking nice. Get the camera more focused on the actual kneading area and not be kneading on the side. Ooh, hello, sorry I missed your words. Right? That's what I'm thinking. But I want to get it, because I already used all of the flour that it said to use. And so I want to see if I can get up the gluten in the dough and see if it comes together a little bit better before adding some more flour, because you're right, this is a lot stickier than it probably should be. This is pretzel dough. I don't think it's supposed to be like brioche and a big mess like this. But I'm hoping that with the gluten development, it will come together. That is my hopes and dreams. My hopes and dreams might be shattered. That is okay. Because if it's damp, if it's like a wet dough, it's a wet dough. I've been having a hard time with weighing out my liquids and everything being too liquidy. And so I'm thinking that weighing out my liquids isn't working for me right now. But for the moment, this is actually coming together a lot better than it was a minute ago. Thanks. I know that when I do sourdough, the recipe I use is a very, very liquidy dough. And so this is reminding me kind of that. But the more, with my sourdough, the more I knead it, the more it comes together. And like when I get the gluten finally developed, it actually stays together and it doesn't stick to the counter. But it takes a little while to get it there. So that's what I'm hoping happens with this. But so far, kneading can is working okay. It's not sticking to the counter as much. It's like coming up okay. Starting to come together a little bit better. My real test will be when it like finally comes off of my hand. Then I'll be like, okay, it has enough gluten. It could also just need a little bit more flour, like you're saying. But here we are so far. Not quite. It is looking nice though. And it does have butter in it, so it is like a slightly enriched dough, so it just doesn't have a bunch of butter, and it doesn't have like eggs in it. So yeah, I think either the way I'm measuring out the water is too much, or I'm just not doing it right. I don't know. Because I've seen that weight and like grams and milliliters are basically the same. Like 1 milliliter equals 1 gram. And so that's kind of the measurement I've been going with, but it doesn't seem to be correct. At least not in my experience. That's what Dr. Google says, though. Dr. Google says that 1 milliliter equals 1 gram. That's what Dr. Google says. Now, how often is Dr. Google correct? Most of the time, not all the time, a lot of times. But I think this is going to be one of those times where I don't agree with Dr. Google. Ooh. But I am getting about to the end of my stamina for kneading, and for the moment, it seems to be doing okay. Like it's coming together nicely. I can tell that it has like a good amount of gluten in it because it's holding together nicely. And I could probably check it here in a second, and it would probably make a good window. It's just sticking to everything. And it could just be that my hands are sticky because, I don't know. That could just be it though. All right. Let me see about roughing up some of this stuff. See if I can get it pulled up off of the counter. Here we go. Oh, it's not sticking here in the middle though. It only sticks like on the edges of it. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. But, oh man, it's doing awesome. like how well it's holding together. Let's kind of pull it out. See, we got a good amount of gluten in there. Let's get a little bit more. I think that pretzels are supposed to have a lot of gluten. No, I really don't know if pretzels should have a lot of gluten. Do you know? I don't know. I think they should, but that's just off of my my knowledge of baking and like eating pretzels. I don't have a lot of experience making pretzels. Maybe I should ask Annie's. Aunt Annie, should pretzels have a lot of gluten? I wonder if there was ever actually an Aunt Annie, or if she was just like Chuck E. Cheese, like a made-up figure to be like the image of a place. Because technically, the Wendy's girl is a person. I think it was like the Wendy's guy's niece, or something like that. Well, he based it off of her anyway. Not that it was actually her, but it was based off of her. And so, I don't know if Aunt Annie was actually like a person who made pretzels, or if it's just like, hey, everybody has an aunt who like they love, and that would make a great marketing strategy. Let's have it be somebody's aunt who makes pretzels. I haven't, I wonder if the Foods That Built America, there's a show on, like, I think it's the History Channel, where it's the Foods That Built America, and I know they have like donuts and fast food burgers like McDonald's and Burger King. And they also have things like Taco Bell and Arby's on there. So it would make sense that they could have something for Aunt Annie's. I don't know how much Aunt Annie's built America, but I could see it making sense. Oh man. If you ever want a good arm workout, make some bread at home. Just make some bread that you have to knead anyway. I made a no-knead bread back in January, I think, maybe February. I think it was January. And it was just bread. It was good bread. But you didn't need to knead it because it's something about like if you let the yeast just kind of sit and do its thing, it like makes gluten. It's just like takes a really long time. But see, it's not necessarily like it's sticking to the counter, just not as much, and it's coming off of my hand, like not there obviously, but like as I do this more, like I can feel it pulling away from my hand more, like it's pulling more of the sticky stuff off of my hand, which is exactly what we want. It's exactly what we want. I want to see how much of the sticky stuff it'll pull off of my hand. That's my goal right now. Well, technically my goal is to knead this into a really great dough ball so that it will be an awesome dough. But part of that is seeing if I can get it to get all the sticky stuff off of my hand, which is kind of sort of working. Kind of sort of, that's kind of everything in my life. It kind of sort of works. Not exactly the way I meant it to, but quite honestly, I live in a dream world where everything works. Even the weird, outrageous stuff. Yeah. It's coming together nicely. It's not sticking to the counter as bad. It's not sticking to me as bad. It's feeling a lot more rubbery, which, believe it or not, that's like a good thing. because technically gluten is like rubber bands in the dough. It's rubber bands of wheat bands, wheat rubber bands. I don't know. Anyway, whew, we're doing awesome. Keep kneading, just keep kneading, 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 kneading. Keep kneading, just keep kneading. And eventually you'll have a dough. I just gotta beat up the camera a little bit. This is what I need. Like, I don't know. Is there such thing as like a ceiling mounted camera? Or maybe, I don't know. Maybe I can just make it like a big structure thing that covers a bunch of area and then it like just hangs overhead. That'd be cool. I wonder if they get like overhead shots in like actual cooking shows. Because my overhead shots, well, they work. My tripod is in the way. And I'm pretty sure that Emeril Lagasse doesn't have a tripod in his way when he's cooking. But you still have like an over the pot shot. But that could just be like the camera guy, like taking the camera right over the pot and looking at it for a minute. Instead of like a steady cam that I have on my tripod here. I think a steady cam in that kind of instance is referring to something else. It's not referring to the same things I'm referring to. But you see how my hand's all crusty and like it's breaking? We don't want to use this stuff in here because that will add crusties to it. Like earlier before, when I was just trying to get the stuff off my hand and it was acting crusty, it's not the same. Okay, I'm gonna be done with this. I don't want it to knead anymore, and that's basically where we're ending up here. Oh man. So I don't know if it's like my hand underneath all this dough is like this or what, but so here we're gonna do it really quick because speed also helps, believe it or not. These places where it's just kind of damp dough. Try to get that released from the counter. Whew. But it's coming up pretty nice. It's just, yeah, it was really damp. Okay. So I'm grabbing my flour. I'm trying to do this without making a humongous mess. We'll see how that goes. Oh, that was way, way more flour than I was meaning to get right now. Because I gotta somehow incorporate it to the sticky mess. All right, there we go. Stop sticking to me so much. Thank you. Yeah, I think that was more flour than I was intending, but look, it's coming together a lot nicer. Look, you were right. Chef Tommy gun? Yes, Chef Tommy gun. See, I added more flour, and it's coming together now a lot nicer. I was hopes and wishes. Hope and wish it turns out the way you want, and then if it doesn't, have a backup plan. And the backup plan was more flour, which seemed to be working. But this also, ooh, that feels a lot nicer. This feels a lot nicer than it was. It's still like getting kind of sticky, but it's a lot nicer. This dough is so much better just by adding that little bit of flour. Like, see, it's a nice ball. It's not sticking to the counter. It's actually pulling stuff off of my hand. Ow! Don't overextend your hand like that. That was dumb. But it's getting off of the counter. It's not getting on my hand as much. I like this. This is going the way I want it to now. Much, much better. See, this is what I was wanting. Oh, goodness, we got it right. Okay, see, it's pulling the stuff off my hand a lot better. Like karate chop. There we go. Oh, nice. And it's like it's not sticking to the counter. All it needed was a little bit more flour. I was hoping that the gluten would develop enough that I wouldn't need to do all this, but nope. This is what we're doing instead. But see, it's still a little bit sticky, but that's fine if it's this kind of sticky. If it's sticky like this, but it's like staying together and it's not leaving bits behind and staying on everything, then that's where we need it to be. Okay, whoo-wee. Man, we've just been kneading forever and ever and ever and ever. And this is why nobody makes dough at home or makes bread at home anymore, because it takes forever to knead it. Because technically, the recipe said to knead by hand for 5 minutes. This has been a lot longer than 5 minutes. I could probably go back in the video and check when I started kneading. I know it was more than 5 minutes ago. Anyway, let's see. How is this doing now? All right, now that this is like together, there we go. This is much better together. We're just gonna, so it says to let it rest for 5 minutes. Are we supposed to do something with this? Let me see. All right, the recipe says, this wooden spoon till dough's thick. No longer sticky, it's still sticky. Add quarter cup to half a cup as needed. Poke the dough bounces back, it's ready to knead. 5 minutes, let the flour surface. Sprinkle teaspoon flour 10. Do not add more flavoring. You do not want a dry dough. The dough should still feel a little soft. Poke it with your finger, but slowly bounce it back. Your dough is ready to rise. You can use a window pane test. Ready, blah blah blah. Trying to see if there's anything I need to coat it with in order to let it sit. Stop kneading dough into a ball, cover lightly with ketone and allow it to rest for 10 minutes. Meanwhile, get water and baking soda boiling. Okay, so looks fairly dough-like. Bam. Okay. Ball of dough. See if I can kind of get it together a little bit more to a ball. Ball up. Ball into bowl. And we're going to put a towel over this and let it sit. Now that I've scraped all of that mess off my hands, let's scrape it off the table. I know we have some water to get ready, but we already what did we do? Oh, we already boiled the water. So the water's pre-boiled, so it won't take as long to get up to temp. So I'm just taking this fancy dough scraper and scraping the heck out of the counter to get the stuff off of it. It's like a lot more on the counter than I was expecting it to. I don't know why. I was expecting less on the counter. I think usually when I knead dough, it does look less on the counter. Let's see, is this gonna? Nope, this side's gonna be the best side for Okay, so this isn't cleaning off the counter really well. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go get, we have this little scrubber. Oh goodness. Nice scraping ASMR. I'm gonna go get a scrubber and kind of scrub this up a little bit because that's what I got off with the scraper. And we need more. Alright. So this is basically just like a rough, I don't even know what material that is, but it's like a rough material kind of crocheted into like a circle. And we use this to scrub things off of like non-stick pans so that we're not scraping and scratching up our pans. But that feels like it got everything up. Might go over with a sponge because if you don't, then all of that we just scraped up and like let me drip water on the floor. But we just scraped up a bunch of that flour into water, and we want to get that off the counter. Oh, hi, welcome from Germany. Welcome, thanks for stopping by. I'm trying to, excuse me, I'm trying to make some soft pretzels today. We'll see how that turns out, because right now, we got the dough resting for a few, and we're actually about to start getting some water boiling for their little bath. So we got the counter all cleaned up from where we were kneading. And if we're gonna be doing these one at a time, I don't think I'll need like a huge pot. So let's see. I have a pot with it did get fixed. Nice. Okay, so this is our favorite pot. Okay, and how much water does it really matter? How much water? Yeah, this is 9 cups of water. I don't know. I have 1.5 liters. Nope, let's not do that. That was pouring everywhere. Okay, so see, 1.5 liters. I'm gonna try to oil. And let's see, more than that. Oh, 4 cups. So 1.5, 6 cups. So we bring that. So we're going to start this reboiling, and I got the rest of it in the kettle to boil. Well, is that the chemical breakdown for the sodium bicarbonate, NaOH? I think that's sodium bicarb, which baking soda. Oh, okay. You can see that. I don't know if we have that in America because I'm in America, so I don't know if we have the same ingredient. So I think we just use baking soda here in America because we don't have the other one. Or, well, I don't have the other one anyway. And all the recipes I've seen say baking soda. But that's very interesting. Yeah? Is there a common name for the NaOH? Because I'm not recalling that at the moment. This does say half a cup, 120 grams. I'm going to put my baking soda in the water. We have more water to add, but I'm going to wait till that still boil in the kettle, and then we'll add it. We got this coming up to boil. I'm actually going to turn a little bit lower into a simmer because I had it turned on pretty high so that it would come up to temperature. So I have more water boiling. Everything coming together. It's been sitting for a few minutes. And so I'll add the water to that here in just a moment. Oh, thank you. Heavy water. Like I've heard of heavy water, but I don't know if like anywhere you can get it. I know in America it's a lot harder to get some of these chemical things. Um, there's one I want to get. Hydrogen peroxide. I want to get that for laundry, but it's hard to get a concentrated version of it because it's dangerous. Oh, caustic soda. I have soda ash, but I don't think that's the same. Yeah, the most place I know of to use like caustic soda is either in like doing tie-dye or like soap making. Those are the places I know caustic soda from. But that's interesting. I'll have to see if I can find a German recipe that a German recipe for pretzels that use that and see if that is different than this. It's probably going to be very different. Um, and we've had a German pub back where I lived, but I'm assuming that what they used wasn't exactly true to what you would have there in Germany. Oh, okay. A high acidity. Nice. So yeah, I'll have to look into that. Maybe that can be another one of the things that I try is try like a real German recipe. Because I'm just using American recipes for this. Oh, that's awesome. On the stove baking. Um, nice, nice. What kind of restaurant? Is it just like a local German restaurant? That's really interesting. Nicely rested. I want to add the rest of the water. The kettle's about done boiling, and so once that is, I want to add that to the water, and then we'll go through and form the pretzels. Basically, form a pretzel, put it in, dip it out, and put it on the pan, and kind of do that. So the water in the kettle finished boiling. A little bit more kettle water so that we have enough water. And from here, let's go ahead and form. I'm going to make a line. I'm going to make an assembly line. Bringing, let's see, I I have a prepared pan with a silicone mat that I'm putting over here. So we'll have boiling water. We'll take it out of the boiling water and put it on there, and then I have salt to add to the top. Salt. Technically, I think you should use like a kosher salt or a pretzel salt, but let's see. Belgium. If I came back to Germany. Nice. Wild. Pretzels. See, I wanted to be a chef, and that's the kind of thing I wanted to do. And I worked in enough American restaurants, cleaning up after people, that I decided I didn't want to do that anymore. But I was always a waitress and a not always a waitress and a bartender, but for the most part, I was a waitress and a bartender. And I find that in Europe, chefs are treated a bit better than they are here in America. Get a little bit more respect. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of eyeball all of this. This recipe says it should make 12. So I'm gonna separate. So each of these balls should be 6. And then come together into a ball. Are these about even? These look even enough to me. And then each of these should be 3. This one's still full. I don't know if it's just my left hand makes everything feel bigger, or if I'm just putting everything bigger on my left side. Okay, so this should be 3. Then this is what the recipe says anyway. 6. Take on 1, 2, 3. Nice. Yeah, I'd wanted to go to culinary school. At least here in America, I was going to go to Johnson & Wales just outside when I got out of high school, but I couldn't come up with the money for it. So I went to a state college and I got a degree in food service management. And then I went and worked as a bartender and a server and a cook in a couple of different places. And I decided I didn't like working for people. I didn't like at least the American environment of restaurants. It's the customer's always right, and you have to cater to everybody, and then Americans just leave big messes everywhere, and I don't like that. These feel kind of small. Or that feels kind of small. I don't know. But let's go. The water's not boiling either. Ooh, I've used boiling water, so it should have done it. Right? But in my head, I'm like, I want to go to France, and like this is what I wanted to do is I wanted to go to France, and I wanted to be like a bakery apprentice, and I wanted to learn how to bake French breads, and that's what I wanted. I took French in high school so that when I was going to go to Johnson & Wales, and I was going to get like a pastry degree there, and then I was going to go to France and be a chef, be a bakery. Boulangerie is a bakery. Boulanger? Something like that. It just looks very tiny. I don't know if it's because it is very tiny or if I did something wrong. Both of them are very good options. Oui! Boulanger. Thank you. I don't know how to say it in German, I'm sorry. I only took a very little bit of German, and then I went to visit my fiance in Germany, and that turned out to be a bad situation, so I stopped studying German. Though, still would like to learn how to speak German. It's counterproductive. Alright, I'm gonna go. The water, I can hear the water simmering, but to make the ends thinner and don't roll too long, the gluten inside will get hard and unrollable. Good to know. Let's try that again, but we're gonna, this isn't quite simmering, but I can hear it. And it's starting to stick to the counter. So, are you gonna come up? Nope. Yep, I'm just making all kinds of mistakes. That's why I like doing this. Which is lie. Lie! There we go. Where, oh. Lye I use to make solid soap. Technically it's food grade, so it's usually used to make bagels. But it was found to be unsafe. Now people, okay, yeah. That came to the top. Hopefully that's 30 seconds. We'll pretend it is. At least looks pretzel-like. Like a baby pretzel. Yeah, so I know that caustic soda as lye. Baking soda, sodium bicarbonate. Yeah, almost, but according to our resident German chef, I think it's not quite the same. They should grown up, just probably not as nicely. So roll over. So I still have salt in my hand, so I'm trying to, and the back side of that just doesn't look very nice. I think I let it sit for too long and it kind of went back together. So this is why I practice baking like this, because yeah, I'm probably doing stuff wrong, but the more I try and the more I get it wrong, I'll eventually have to do something right. Eventually. Alright, it's already pretty late. I have to go to bed soon. Oh, thank you. Yes, I stream every Tuesday and Thursday. It's 12:30 p.m. Pacific time. So that was about a little over an hour ago that I started. Oh, that would be amazing. Yeah, yeah, I bake every Tuesday and Thursday. That would be amazing. I understand German time is not American time. I was in Iraq for a little bit and it was an 11-hour time difference. I love how... Thank you. That's what I usually do. Video. I'm not sure if, I do have all of these on my Facebook page and my YouTube. So I have it, if that's nice diced. If that's something on Twitch, I haven't figured out how to use that part yet. So I'll have to look into that. But yes, now I have these on other things. See the baking blog here. Can I connect to there? Yes, I haven't updated it in a while, but the links on there should still be good. But yes, we can connect there. I've just been trying to figure out how to do all of these things, and it's been a little overwhelming. So some of the things have gone to the wayside. I still keep the baking going, but like my reviews on how everything went when I baked just have not gone accordingly. But yes, Sunday should be good. I apologize. So yeah, it must have canceled. Okay, I apologize. I will get that back up and working. Okay. Yes. I'll have to work on that a little bit later because I can't do it right now because I'm baking. But I will get that working up again tonight. So maybe try again in the morning. But thank you very much. Yeah, no, I would love to try like a real German pretzel recipe. And now that we know that it's lye, I can try to get some and use that. Oh no. In the very least, I can try to use some kind of translation service. My German is not very good, but I can try. I shouldn't need a translation, but it might be helpful. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you helping me out with those. That is really awesome. Okay, so that was 3. I'm gonna break this down into 3. And 2, 3. A little bit of German I do know. Let's see. These just feel really small. There is a translation below the video. You're right. Excellent. Thank you. Yeah, that's amazing. I really appreciate that, and I'll definitely look into that. If you have any other German baked goods that you think I would enjoy making, feel free to leave those for me as well. I love trying different foods from all around the world, different baked goods from different places. And so I would love to try baking something different. It's really hard to find those things in an American search engine because it wants to put American recipes first. And I'm like, I don't want American recipes. I want recipes from other places. And it's like, did you mean that you want American recipes? No, I don't. Thank you. But yes, thank you so much. That would be incredibly helpful. Alright. So, yeah, these look really small. I think I'm doing something wrong. Or I did something wrong. One of the above. But since I didn't let this one sit, the back looks good. Well, technically from here it looks like a pile of dog poop, but it looks better than it did last time. And that one did that sat for too long. Maybe it does need to sit for a minute after I twist it, because this one The ones that I twisted really fast and put directly into the water seem to have, they seem to be balling up smaller. Lovely. Well, nice, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out today. I hope that you get some good rest and that I can see you on another day. Like I said, I do live stream Tuesdays and Thursdays. I start at 12:30 p.m. Pacific time. I'm not sure what that is in German time, but I'd be happy for you to watch the replays and definitely give me any tips. Like, tips and tricks are always welcome. I did beat this dough into submission, and now I can feel the air bubbles in it, which is always fun. But Nice Dice was saying not to stretch or roll it so much. You definitely feel the gluten in here though. Oh no, it broke. We're just going to roll that together and pretend nothing happened. Nothing happened. See? This is what happens when you spend too much time as a kid playing with Play-Doh. Grow up and go, I want to make pretzels for the masses. Okay, so I'm going to let this sit for a minute and see if letting it sit while I roll this one out makes it behave any better. I don't think it will, but let it try, right? Do 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 do. Bum, 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 bum. No, these aren't Asian noodles, but we're gonna beat them like they are. I like the little twist, so that's why I'm putting the little twist in there. Okay, so we're gonna let this sit on the counter for a second, and maybe this is relaxed enough that it will become a prettier, bigger pretzel. I don't know. But we're going to dunk it in water and see. See, it's coming up like right away. This really actually makes me wonder if lye would work, like how lye would work for this. So that's, oh, and thanks Mom for giving me the word lye, because I didn't realize that lye was what we're talking about. I knew it was in soap. I just didn't realize it was lye. Bo, bo, bo. But this puffed up a lot nicer. It's a lot bigger and prettier. I like it a lot more. We got a little air bubble. Psh, no more air bubble. Goodbye, air bubble. But this is looking nice. Looking very nice. So the recipe says not to put more than 2 in here at a time or else they'll taste metallic. So I'm not sure what that's about, but we're not about to put Metallica in our. These are slimy coming off of here. Oopsies. Oh. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I'm only gonna put 5 of them. I like salted pretzels, but I'm not gonna eat these as much. Okay, we're not. That looks a lot nicer. Oh my goodness, this is my favorite pretzel so far. This looks amazing. I love the way this one looks. Okay, okay. All right, pretzels, do your thing. Start looking pretzely. I'm gonna flip it over. Give it a few more seconds. Getting all pretzely. Yeah, I think using a lye would probably be very different. That makes me super excited. I now have something else to try. I like trying new things. So anybody who knows me will completely get this. Like 5 minutes before I start live streaming, I'm panicking, going, I don't want to do this. But now I'm here. I'm like, yay, this is awesome. Let's keep doing it. Let's go forever and ever. Okay, so I have the first six are all pretzels, and they're ready to bake. But I'm gonna try to finish these. Did you guys see this? I pulled this up and it like left stuff. So we're gonna. But there's no more stuff. I don't know what you're talking about. There's no stuff. Stuff is gone. Never happened. It didn't exist back. All right. We have shape. Cut the shape in half. And these about the same. I swear the left side always feels bigger. If it is or not, I don't know, but it feels like it is. And it could just be my left hand is more sensitive because I'm left-handed. Okay, so take this. Take that and that. On guard. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to take this. And we're going to go ahead and just do all 6 as balls. See if I can roll these out into pretzels. I don't think I'm going to get to the keto pretzels today. Maybe. I'll try. But I do like. No, I wonder if I can kind of like hard do these and then like do more. Situations. We're figuring stuff out. Let's see, there's 2 strings there, making this string out a little bit more. The water's simmering still, so that's a good sign. Roll this out. Everything. So 4 strings. 5 strings. And gonna move these around a little bit, so hopefully they're not so much in the way. That is the goal. All right, roll this side out. The fun part for me right now is that the pretzels over on the other counter that have already been dipped are still rising, and so to see this the newly risen parts kind of poking out of where it was boiled is just amusing. All right. So got 1 long string. Twist it around and put it down. Stretch it out a little bit. Set it over here. We're gonna let it rest for 30 seconds or so while we roll out another one. Did you see where I put it? Right here on the edge of the screen, of course. Okay. These aren't Asian noodles, but we're gonna beat it like it is. All right. So cross, down. It looks like an alien monster kind of thing. 2. I can't really do more than 1 of these at a time anyway. We can do 2 in the water, it says, but I'm only going to do 1 at a time just because. All right. Ooh, this one probably had a lot more dough. It's rolling out a lot nicer. Okay, so I'm gonna set this one here, and I'm gonna take this first one. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the water. I am just kind of stretching it out as I'm pulling at it. So let that come up. I'm gonna not twist it, not stretch it out. We already did those things. I'm gonna flip it over here in just a second because it popped like straight up to the top really fast. And yes, I am gonna crowd my pan and see if I can fit all of these on the same pan because I don't want to cook 2 pans of pretzels. I just want to cook 1 pan. 1 pan of pretzels. That's all I want to do. Okay, so I'm going to take a second to flip this pretzel over. Let it boil for another couple of seconds while I roll this one out. Roll, 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 roll. Roll, 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 roll. Cross down, up and out. Okay, so let's do our great pretzel crossover. So it back over so the top's up. Let it drain. Let it rain, let it rain, let it drip out and drain. A little bit of salt on top. Nice pretzels. Then we're going to take our next wrapping one. And again, stretchy, 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 stretchy. Like I said, I don't think I'm supposed to do this. Oh, just commented the second video under your YouTube video. Got to run now. Good night. Thank you for coming by. Carlos Mel. Hola. Thanks for coming by. So we're going to let that go in there, and then while that goes in there, we're going to roll out the last pretzel we have to roll out. Hola, ¿cómo estás? I don't know how to speak a lot in Spanish, but I try. I try a little bit. I try to do what I can anyway. Rolling this out, and that's on top of the water. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a quick flip. This part's starting to go a lot faster now that I'm kind of getting everything under control. All right, cross, cross, down, stretch. That looks like right there. I like that one. Some of these other ones aren't looking so pretty. Okay, we're gonna flip that back over. Bring it out to drain. Apparently, he dropped it back in the water. I'm making a mess. Luckily, most of my mess is a water mess, so I can just clean it, like wipe it up. Alright. This one next. Stretch. Like stretchy, stretchy. Probably not supposed to stretch it out like this, but I like it the way that it's turning out better when I'm stretching them. Upside down. It's already floating automatically. I don't like that, but that's okay. Alright, I'm gonna flip it over real quick, just because it's probably gonna need flipped over again, but we have them all rolled out. So they're popping up nicely, so I think that when I stretch them this like this, it's working. I blame the American recipes. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna have time to do the keto recipe today, which that's fine. We'll go over it and just kind of look at what it takes. I have all the ingredients to make it. We just don't have the time to make it today. This has been a lot more time consuming than I anticipated. So interesting. But I like this one's actually like the size I've been wanting. So that's exciting. It's exciting to see how these are turning out differently. I also don't know if I'm gonna have I have 3 more pretzels to put on this plate, and I don't think I have enough space for all of them. So, but like I stretch it out a little bit and then put it in the water, and it turns out more the shape that I want, even though this side's a little wonky on this one. But this has been working out amazing. I am really, really happy with this. You know what? I have those 3 pretzels, so I'm gonna go ahead and put these in the oven. They say they're supposed to cook for 10 to 15 minutes, so we'll just keep an eye on that. And let me get a small pan. A small baking vat I can put on here. Packed silicone mats, all of those things. Flip over. This stuff right over. All right. And I think that we'll definitely do these few with no salt. Like those all have salt on them. But the ones that are on this mat, we're gonna do with no salt. But that weird looking. Yeah, that one turned out weird looking. We are here to learn and practice. So like I said, I do like stretching these out. Like after I twist them, I stretch them out a bit. And then when I put I let them rest and they kind of relax enough that I can. But then when I put them in here, they like rubber band back to the size I would like. So this is going swimmingly. I like it. This is going very well. Everything's going so well. Because I can. Because I can. Yeah, I'm thinking that this is turning out much better than the first ones I did. It's all about learning. So it seems like forming the pretzel and letting it sit and kind of rest for a minute and then stretching it before putting it in the boiling water gets it to be more of the like size and shape of a pretzel that I want it to be. So exciting things. Oh, I feel like Olaf. Good to know. Okay, let this drip dry for a second. Good things. All right, we have our last pretzel, which this one actually has like a really good pretzel shape. It ruined it. But stretchy. Everything's all stretchy. Stretch it out and stretch it out. And then drop it in the water. Drop it like it's hot. All right. Well, I, for one, am incredibly excited about how well this seems to be going. Like, the pretzels are pretzels. They're all twisty. They're boiling in the water nicely. And then, like, I shaped it right. And apparently, letting it rest and then stretching it did a lot for it. So, like, super exciting. I'm so excited by how this went. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off this water because we're not going to do any more pretzel boiling. We're going to let this kind of drain off for a second. And nice. Okay. Let's put this in. All right, so those other ones have been in for 5 minutes. These I'm not going to put any salt on, so I'm going to put these in starting now. Yeah, those first ones, I just saw them. They are really, really, let's take a look. We're gonna look at these in here. Let's see what's in light. We'll give it enough justice. Like the ones here on the bottom, I kind of made a little bit later, but if you see those ones in the back, all of those are super like puffed together, and yeah, that's not the one we were wanting, but they're not looking terrible, so it could be worse. This is where we're at. So, this point, give me just a second. I was just replacing the water in the pot with cold water since it's hot water in there right now, and we don't want to put a bunch of hot water all over the sink. It's in the sink, so it doesn't really matter. There's a ton of hot water there. I'm also trying to get the baking soda water off of the stove before it like sticks on badly. All right. So we just have a few more minutes for the first batch to finish cooking. I'm like, what are we doing? The first batch of pretzels to finish cooking. So those just need a little bit more time. We're not going to make pretzels today, just because these took so long. Now, from what I've read of the recipe, it doesn't feel like it should take as long, but also I didn't think that the pretzels should take this long either, and they are. So I don't know what that says. Yeah, I'm like, pretzels, these look like they should take like an hour. Like, mix it together, knead it for 5 or 10 minutes, and then it should be good, right? Nope. 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 Not at all. But that's okay. This is why we do these, because one, I'm not a professional. I am not. And so we get to see how long these take for a non-professional to make them. Because if a professional makes them, it's probably going to take like a quarter of the time, because professionals are just way faster at this kind of stuff. But as a non-professional, it's taking 2 hours to make up these pretzels. So that is, what did we do? We kneaded the pretzels, like we mixed the dough, kneaded the pretzels. First we looked at the recipe, mixed the dough, kneaded the pretzels, let them rest. We got together the baking soda water, which apparently lye is the other one, caustic soda. So, yes, no, I think lye would definitely do something, but we're not messing with lye today. Lye, pretzels. Yeah, and then the boiling, and I think the forming and boiling, I think all of that. It probably took longer than I expected, but not too much longer. So these have been in for about 10 minutes. We're going on the 10-minute mark, and it says 12 to 15 minutes. So we definitely give them a few more minutes, but it seems like they're going nicely. Like, I'm really happy with how it's going so far. I don't know if that means anything, but I'm happy with how it's going. So I'm also happy with the amount of mess, because some of the things I make, um, there's a lot of mess. There's a lot of cleanup. There's a lot of things everywhere. But I don't know if it's just I've been better about cleaning and as we go, or if it's just not that messy. But we did all the kneading, and we cleaned up the table, and I cleaned up the soda water, and everything's in the sink. But there's just a couple of dishes because it's the pot that we boiled it in, it's the bowl that we mix things in, the spoon, and um, oh, and the slotted spoon to pull them out of the water. So it doesn't seem like there's a lot of dishes in this, which I like dishes that don't have, or baked goods and things that don't have a lot of dishes. Like marshmallows had a lot of dishes. Um, Anything covered in chocolate has a lot of dishes. And it's a big mess everywhere. So it's really nice to not have such a big mess. Hello, welcome. We're just finishing up making pretzels today. The pretzels are in the oven. Um, they've been in for about 11 minutes. We're going to check on them here in one more minute. And so everything's just going nice and smooth today. I was thinking about maybe trying to make some keto pretzels today, which that uses a cheese-based dough that uses almond flour, mozzarella cheese, eggs, and cream cheese. And you kind of microwave it and mix it together, and it becomes this kind of stretchy mass that you can then turn into bread, pretzels, pizza dough. It looks like a really nice dough. I haven't had a chance to work on it. Last time I was on keto, I ended up, like if I wanted pizza, I would make a chicken crust dough, which is basically you take cans of chicken, strain them out, dry them out the best you can in the oven, and then mix them with eggs and mozzarella cheese to make like a thin crust, kind of crunchy kind of dough. Yeah, if you're looking for like a chicken pizza anyway, then that makes a really good like a really good base for the pizza, because you already have your chicken, you have your chicken base, put some sauce on it, top it off with a little bit of extra cheese, add some like peppers and onions if you want some veggies and stuff on there, and then you have your chicken pizza. If you can get like a good barbecue sauce, you could even do chicken barbecue sauce, and you can cheddar cheese, and then have like a cheddar barbecue chicken pizza. Which actually that sounds really good. But I'm not a big fan of barbecue sauce, so I have to find like a not very sweet barbecue sauce. So we'll have to work on that. But let's see. 7. Um, let's check it. What's going on? Let's see. Did not leave the oven light on? Did I? Yes, I did. Okay. So we'll look through the oven door first. Oh, and they're starting to get a little bit brown. I do think that they'll need a few more minutes. I just opened the door and got covered in steam. Oh goodness, but look at those. Like these first ones are like, they look funny, but that's okay. That's okay. So I'm gonna just rotate these just to kind of, hopefully they'll cook a little bit more even since I rotated them. And those need, let's see, I put them in at 114. So 124 was 10 minutes. 28 is 14 minutes. Let's give them like another 2 or 3 minutes. And that should do it for those top pretzels. The bottom pretzels I put in 10 minutes after the first batch. So those still need quite a bit. So those have only been in for like 4 minutes. Yeah, those need more time. But that also leads another thing to think about. One, on those first couple of pretzels, I didn't stretch them out before I put them in the water because I didn't think to do it. I just dropped them in and then they turned into these little weird pretzel pucks. And then they're also busting out of the dough that was boiled. Like you can see the white parts busting out of the middle. So we'll have to see how those are compared to the second batch that I let them sit for a minute. I stretched them out so when I put them in the water, they were a bigger size, and so they don't have as much. They're not as compact, so they shouldn't be puffing out like that. Now, not saying they're not going to be puffy, but they just didn't puff out like the first ones did. So I'm really, really curious. This is awesome. I love trial and error, error. Oh man, if you're from another country and you guys have like a word you say, but you end up saying it like a shortened version, like let's see if I can say this word. Rural. I have a really hard time not saying it as rural because rural. I grew up in the south part of the United States, which has that lovely southern twang, and it's always been rural, rural, rural. It's kind of like a continuing R sound. Rural, rural, rural. So, and then I was just the other day, I was watching a video where it was this professor who talks about like different points of view, like different people from different places and how different cultures interact with each other, which I think is really interesting. And then he was saying that in, I don't remember if it was like Japan or China kind of area, that like filler word, it's like Negia, and it's kind of like a kind of thing in that language, but like me. I'm not gonna say the whole thing because I don't. Not that I'm any kind of situation where people would be trying to take what I say and make them bad, but oh, look at this! Look at this! Okay. Oh my goodness! This is that first batch of pretzels, and that looks awesome. But it actually looks like the second batch is probably done as well. And I don't know. Look at that. Look at that. That popped through. Oh my gosh, that looks amazing. Okay. All right. So it looks like all of the pretzels are cooked. So I'll turn that off. But see what I was saying about like the first ones I did and how they kind of puffed up through the thing, and these are really soft and fluffy. Like, look at that. These look amazing. But then, like, this is not really salted. So I'll throw it over here with these guys. But these, like, they're brown at the bottom. I flip them over so they don't, like, cook too brown on that. But look, they're nice and brown. Oh my goodness. Those look good. Now, like I said, these look a little sad because they look more like pretzel knots than actual pretzels, but these also cooked very differently than like these did. But these were also on top and these were on bottom. So, oh my goodness. But these look really awesome. I like how they like ripped open here. That's like one of my favorite things. Oh goodness. All right. These look awesome. And these all actually had about the same amount of dough. So like this is like the perfect pretzel shape. This was the last one I did, and it looks a little weird. It probably could have sat for a few minutes before I baked it, and it might have fluffed up a little bit more. This one was just weird, but it like you feel it, and they're still kind of fluffy and soft. This one's a little bit hard on top, but I think that's more of a it's baked a little bit more because you feel on the bottom and it's nice and fluffy. These are looking amazing. I have to kind of evaluate what I'm eating today. See if I can fit a pretzel in. Because, like I said, I'm trying to watch what I eat a little bit and eat more on the protein based and not so much bread and pasta. But I can probably work in at least one of these. I was gonna work in eating keto pretzels because those are protein and just a lot easier to fit in with the way I'm trying to eat right now. Um, this was amazing. Um, let's try to make the keto pretzels on Thursday. I don't think that they should take as long as these did, but it's a good bouncing point to the next one. Also, I want to see if I can alter the pretzel recipe at all and make like flavored pretzels and see if that's gonna do anything. So, hmm, um, I know Nice Dice said that they were gonna leave me a German pretzel recipe, so I'm really excited about that. And if anybody leaves me like a comment or a link to a video with a recipe, I would love to try making different recipes, especially from different countries. So if you have any baked goods from other countries than America, not necessarily than where you live in Germany and you have a really good German not schnitzel because I think that's a sausage. But anyway, you have a German baked recipe that you would like me to try. I would love to try it. So leave it as a comment on the video. Leave it in a comment somewhere else. Apparently, I'm running into issues with my webpage, so I'm about to go and look into that and see what's going on there. But it's been so lovely to have you here with me today. I appreciate any recommendations and all of the heart, like you guys sticking with me. Like, subscribe, all that kind of fun stuff, and I can't wait to see you on Thursday to make some keto pretzels. So thanks for hanging out with me today. Oh, thanks, Kolchak. I appreciate that. I have a lot of fun hanging out and making cooking videos. So I'll be here on Thursday starting at about 12:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I run as long as the recipe or recipes take, depending on what we're making for the day. So thanks for coming by, though, and I hope that I can see you on Thursday. Bye.